thinking, and it gave me the impetus to go forward. Now let me tell you a little bit about the show so you get an idea of that, and then we can, I will introduce David, first Bruce Perry, who's a neurobiologist from the School of Medicine in Baylor, and David Hamburg, who you know is the head of the Carnegie Institute, to talk about brain development and the public policy, the effects on public policy. The show is going to be a 1-hour primetime special. It's going to air April 28th at Monday night at 8 o'clock, and it's a very good time slot for us because the night before they're going to premiere Forrest Gump. The first time it will be on network television, and Tom Hanks, who is hosting our special, as you know, is stars in that, and it will be a good opportunity for us to promote the show. Tom Hanks, as I say, will be hosting, and we have, I'm going to take this piece of paper out because there's a lot of people involved, and they're very big and they're very famous, and if I leave them out, they'll get mad at me, and since I'm well over 40, I probably will forget some of them. We've got Arnold Schwarzenegger, Robin Williams, Billy Crystal, Rosie O'Donnell, Shaquille O'Neal, General Colin Powell, Carl Reiner and Mel Brooks, resurrecting the 2,000-year-old man for people who are fans of that. The President and the First Lady will appear, and a number of other guests. What we're going to do, the form that the show will take, is we are going to highlight a community in Virginia, Hampton, Virginia. It's a community of about 200,000 people that have put into practice a number of early childhood development programs that are working. And we will examine those and three particular stories that have come out of Hampton that all exemplify how a community can pull together over this issue. And what we like about Hampton is that the whole community has rallied around it as not only a way of improving the social status of the community, but also the economic status as well. This was a community at risk, a mayor who was facing financial collapse, the thought of building another prison, refurbishing another prison, and realized that, you know, we're developing, as we know, the permanent underclass, that we have to reverse that. We can't have prisons being a growth industry in this country. It's just not acceptable. To that end, he decided to bring together community leaders, and he brought scientists and specialists together to create programs designed to help empower parents with their children at a very early age. And he brought the banks, the hospitals, the schools, the libraries, the churches, all have rallied around this issue as a way of focusing in on it. And we will spotlight Hampton. But we will also have a lot of fun in the show. There'll be a lot of comedy. And with all of our celebrities, we're going to be doing a thing called Things You Might Not Know about early childhood development, in which these celebrities will be telling you things, and we'll be done in a very funny way. I'm not going to tell you now because you'll see the show and you'll laugh. And then there's going to be a public policy part of it at the end, a call for public policy, in which we will hopefully, I talked to Governor Hunt about this, and possibly Governor Voinovich will come out and talk about what's needed on the state level. And from this, we'll also have an 800 number that AT&T is providing, which we will disseminate some fulfillment materials, most asked questions by parents, and also a directory of services that exist in the states currently. And there are a lot of states that are doing a lot of very good things. As we said, Governor Voinovich from Ohio and Governor Hunt from North Carolina, Governor Childs got great programs down in Florida, and Governor Roy Romer is doing a great job in Colorado. One of the programs that we're going to talk about and highlight is David Olds' program, which started in Elmira, New York, if you know about it. It's about 20 years old, and there's a very good longitudinal study that is going to be coming out, along with a study of other cost-effective programs. We have hired the RAND Corporation to do a cost-benefit analysis of the programs that are working, and then there are a few. There are many that don't work, but there are a number that do and work very effectively, and to the point where there is real reduction in crime, real reduction in teen pregnancy, and this is all going to be savings to you. We have the science is in place. Now we've got to get the economics in place. I've got a graph I just want to show to get you to thinking about this in a certain way. We now know through science that the first 3 years of life is the most critical time period. It is the time period when the brain develops at a greater rate than at any time during the course of a person's life. If you'll see here that the red line up there charts the brain development and the growth of a person from 0 to 18. Now the fact is, if you played that line out, it would still be a flat line from 18 till the time you die. It actually would dip down a little bit because the brain atrophies a little bit as you get older. But by the age 10, your brain is cooked, and there's nothing much you can do. I mean, there are more cognitive things that you can get. There's more information that can get in, and you can process that information. But in terms of growth and development, the brain pretty much stops about age 10. But as you'll see, from 0 to 3 is when the lion's share of that growth occurs. Bruce Perry is going to talk about that, and we're going to put something on the show that's very, very dramatic. Before I say that, and then you'll see there's the blue line is expenditures, public expenditures on that time period. And as you can see, the first 3 years of life, virtually no public money is spent during that time period. So what we're seeing now is that during the greatest time of opportunity and the greatest time of risk, the least resources are being put. It seems pretty silly. We're not getting the bang for our buck, and if we want to start turning things around, we've got to restart, we've got to rethink this. And we all have to have a mindset. If we're going to do the job, we've got to look at policy through the prism of 0 to 3, because it will affect everything. And science is now telling us this, and we will be fools if we do not start addressing this now. That doesn't mean abandon programs that we have. There's still help needed, and help needed all along. But if we want to reduce the burden of those programs, crime, health care, all the things we talked about, we got to make an investment in the first 3 years. It's absolutely critical. And one of the things we're going to show on the show is we're going to put up two brains, and I think Dr. Perry's going to show this in his talk. And those two brains will be a perfectly formed brain and a brain that's about 2/3 the size. In the first brain, all the gray matter is filled in. The other brain has got big black crevices through it. He shows this to neurosurgeons and neurotechnicians, and he says, what do you make of these two brains? As we know, the brain grows to 90% of its adult size by age 3, so they look at these two brains and they say, well, this is a normal brain over here, and this brain is the brain of a person who has Alzheimer's disease. And he says, no, these are both brains of 3-year-olds. This is a brain of a person who's been nurtured and properly taken care of, and this is a brain of a person who's been subjected to either child abuse or neglect. And that brain does not grow beyond that point, and those black crevices don't get filled in. The window of opportunity shuts, and essentially, the child is not lost forever. We're not saying that. But to recapture that child and to rehabilitate, and we all know what that is in terms of delinquency and dropout rates and all of that, is incredibly expensive. What's not expensive is to do what we're talking about. I mean, there is cost involved, but the benefits far outweigh the cost. So we're going to show that, and we're also going to allude to this graph and what this means. So this is all what we're doing, and we need your help. We need you to start thinking differently. You guys have been solving problems your whole lives. You've been working with budgets and legislatures your whole lives. But we can start turning things around if we start focusing on the most important first 3 years. Thanks for having me, and I'm going to turn it over to Bruce Perry, who's going to tell you about what goes on in the brain in those first 3 years, and very specifically about the fact that there are neurobiological things that occur. It's not just, well, he'll tell you better than I am. He's more eloquent, and he's better schooled than I am in that. Thank you very much.